I go down to the bottom of the ocean, I drill a hole, that's spot 1, and then spot 2, and then spot 3. And when I drill those holes, I bring rocks back up. How do you think spot 1 rocks compare to spot 3 rocks? Talk with partners. Yes. How would rocks 1 be different than rocks 3? Awesome.
I think rocks 3 would be bigger because it's closer to the continent than 1 that's being farther away.
Okay. Yeah.
I think number 1 is older and number 3 is newer because number 3 is close to the continent. Maybe must have recently fell into the river, and number 1 is
Into
way
the what?
out there. Like ocean.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so now you're saying 3 would be older than 1. That's an interesting perspective, people. Age. When you think about the age of the rocks, and Nathan's saying 3 would be older than 1. What are some other thoughts?
I think 1 would be newer and 3 would be older.
Why?
Because remember when when it splits and then the lava comes out, and then that makes new rocks. Wouldn't that just make a new rock and then like stuff from great has been in there for a while?
Okay. Now we got 2 contrasting ideas. Ricky?
I think the 1 would have more like lava, like be made more of lava, and then 3 would be like a different type of rock.
Why?
Because of that rip thingy, how it makes the new rocks and stuff. Because when it splits apart, it fills itself back in with lava.
Okay. What do you think? So now 3 might be a different kind of rock. What do you think about the age?
I think 1 is younger because of that making new rock coming from the rip.
Before I let you defend yourself, Nathan, Les? We got one more
I think
perspective.
it's the same age because the lava's been there for a while, but it's like just coming in.
What's the same age? 1 and 3?
Like lava and regular rock.
Okay, so now we actually have to get into a discussion. How do we define, when is a rock born? Now, when you guys think about lava, most of you don't think of the word rock, unless you think of liquid rock. Once the lava cools, that's when you think of it being a rock. And so let's for now, let's just think about a rock as something that is hard. It's a solid object. Liquid lava, or liquid magma, whatever, is not a rock. So Nathan, go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I'm gonna disagree with Austin and Ricky. I think rock number 1 or whatever is gonna be older because it's further away from the side continent by number 3. So as they moved out, number 1 moved with them and be older.
If number 1 moved with them,
Like
why is it so far away from the continent?
That's what I mean. Like it moved out into the Middle Atlantic Bridge or whatever, so it'll be older.
Okay.
Just to throw this out here, maybe 1 came from that continent way over there at A, and 3 just came off at A.
He dug the hole.
Wait, say it again. What about
Okay,
1?
what about digging the hole over there?
He dug the hole.
Well, I
It's
didn't
not
dig
a
nothing.
natural hole. You said you drilled a hole.
Yeah, well, I'm saying scientists went and dug rocks off the bottom of the ocean floor at sites 1, 2, and 3. And I'm asking you to compare 1, 2, and 3. Now, we don't have to compare age, but that's where Nathan took us.
Thanks, Nathan.
You're welcome.
It's an interesting idea. Which one's older? Now, Nathan, what were you saying? I don't think I understood what you were saying.
Like maybe number 1 came from that continent way over there. Maybe number 3 did, it doesn't matter. But, like,
I still don't understand.
he's saying it over there, Mr. Straight there, came over
It's
and,
curly.
okay, but like he's saying it's formed from lava, like right next to the MAR. And I'm saying it might have kind of came from that continent, if that's Asia, like little A.
The A is Africa.
Oh,
Now, that's an interesting point. If some of this rock was formed by this continent, what would we expect to find on the edge of this continent?
The same type of rock.
Okay, possibly that same kind of rock. What else would we expect to find here? Perhaps.
Rock from other continents.
Okay. So that's actually a testable idea. Somebody else, as far as the ages of 1, 2, and 3.
Can I add to my
Sure.
difference or whatever? Maybe it's like the law of superposition still, like the stuff towards the bottom is older. I think that's what it was.
Well, they're all on the bottom of the ocean floor.
I know, but then as the lava comes over the top, it makes newer rock. But then the stuff on bottom might be older.
Okay.
As it
Now, if that was the case, then all three would be what?
the same age.
The same age, if they came from the same top layer. Or whatever. Okay, that's an interesting idea. What else?
I say like the next one is older and three is younger, because like one might have been at like couldn't all one pound, all continents were close together, and once they started spreading out, the continents just like pulled all the rock with them and just uncovered one and two, and three just stayed on top.
Okay, and now here's what's happening, people, and this is why I want you guys to participate, because I'm hearing several different ideas as to how the continents move. And that is actually one of the big arguments of this idea of how continents move is continents moving. People didn't know how they moved. And so right now, you guys, there's like 3 different ideas right now about how the continents are moving. They're starting in the middle, spreading out. There's them going over. There's things falling off. There's water moving it. There's all kinds of ideas going on right now. I hope you have an idea right now in your head. I'm going to tell you what science has actually found as far as the different ages. This is the youngest. This is the oldest. So now, talk with your partners about how you would explain this being the youngest and this being the oldest. Somebody explain to me why 1 is younger than 3. Jesse.
Like where that water and everything is, where that kind of lava came out and just built a new rock and just kind of moved there and kind of later, maybe millions of years later, it kept moving on and it got older.
Okay. Somebody else. Awesome.
I'm gonna go back to Nathan's idea. Maybe those 3 like types of blocks come from Africa and they move towards NA or SA.
Okay.
If the ridge push up that pushes lava up and hits the rock, push it like out. That.
Okay. Now, I want to make a point here, people. There's been at least 2 different ideas, because I think Jesse and Omar kind of agree. And then Austin and Nathan kind of agree. People, they got the same evidence. They had the same information, coming up with different ideas. This is why science, to me, is so interesting. It's not always clear. It's not always like, do the right experiment and you get the right answer. It's, let's get as much information as we can, and then we got to figure out what does it all mean. I'm going to give you another piece of information to help you make sense of this. If I go on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean and drill 1, 2, and 3, 3 is the oldest. And so the oldest is on the outside, the youngest is on the inside. What does that mean? Lily?
That the rocks, like, that the bottom, it's like going that way.
Okay.
From the mid-Atlantic ridge.
Omar?
The rock closest to the ridge is lower.
Say it again.
The rock closest to the ridge is youngest.
Okay.
Something in the middle must be making some new rock, and look, the ridge is right in the middle of them. For
Okay.
some reason, that's the same thing.
Now, the way that I think about this is that if I take my hands and my fingers and I use those as like the 4 areas, and in between my hands is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, ring fingers.
That's confusing.
Which one have been there longest? So here's where, let me go backwards instead. According to what's up there, if this is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, my hands are the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Which is oldest, my pinkies or my index fingers?
Your pinkies.
According to that drawing,
Index fingers.
pinkies are older.
Oh.
Okay? Now, if my pinkies are older, that means my index fingers are the youngest. So if I were to go back in time, which one do I take away first?
Your fingers.
Which fingers?
Index.
Okay? And watch what happens. Those go closer together. And then I take away the next layer, and they go closer together. And I take the next one, and they go closer together. So if I were to make this whole picture go back in time, what would happen to these continents?
They get closer.
They move closer.
They get closer. And so if I go forward in time, they move apart.